Hi there, Michelle Anton here, Director of Communications for Clarity. This is the brand promoter training that we do on Saturdays. And today we are so pleased to have a special guest, Dr. Heather, received her Ph.D. in Developmental Psychology from Brandeis University, where she studied aging. After spending 20 years in higher education, she left the university to follow her purpose of raising the collective consciousness, and clarity is part of her story. So, Heather Frederick, come on down.
Michelle, thanks so much for that awesome introduction. And it's just always so much fun to collaborate on these presentations with you and Bernie. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for everyone who's dialed in or is maybe listening on a recording. What I'd like to do is encourage you to go ahead and have a pen and paper handy, because you just might be inspired to jot out some ideas during this presentation. Not required, but you may be getting some intuitive hits, and I'd love for you to have the opportunity to write those down. So if you've got a pen and paper, that'd be great. And I want to start by just connecting us all through a deep collective cleansing breath. Okay, so let's just do a deep inhale. Hold it for just a second for me, and then let that out. And if you're in a situation where you may need to do a few more, go ahead and do a few more. I want you to be relaxed, and I want to let you know I've got some great news for you. Today we're going to be talking about and experimenting with creating your why. And what I want you to know is you can't get this wrong. So I just want you to enjoy. I want you to take in the information, have some fun, be in a space where you can allow yourself to receive whatever information might be coming in for you today. So I'm going to start by asking you a question. And this question is, what if? What if you knew why you got out of bed in the morning? What if you could clearly articulate what it is that inspires you? What if you knew exactly why you were here? Well, my guess is you might look like the woman on this slide. Because if you started every day really clear on your why, you'd probably feel calm and at peace, but also kind of excited and energized, right? You'd be having fun. Because when I look at this picture, I just imagine the next frame, and I see this woman opening her eyes and just starting to play in the waves. And this is an emotional state that would allow the universe to help you reach any goal that you set. Now, today I'm going to present a model, and interestingly, this model was developed by a man who graduated from Brandeis. So there's an interesting connection there, an interesting synchronicity. This model is a way of thinking that may just get you on the path to helping you articulate your personal why, or if you already have a why, I know a lot of you do, you may find, like I did, that you revise it based on this information. Why we want to do this is because without a clear why, I'm speaking from my personal experience here, I fall into my old story, my old traps of thinking, I need to have this ironclad plan. I need to know exactly what's going to happen to get me from point A to point B. And when I do this, what happens is I create to-do lists that are 1,000,000 miles long. And you probably know what follows, right? Feelings of stress, overwhelm, maybe some anxiety, even a little depression, eventually burnout. And I'm wondering if that sounds familiar to any of you out there. These emotions, these lower vibrational states, they just aren't in our best interest when we're working to create a vision. See, I think everyone on this call is aware of this concept, right? The universe doesn't speak words, it speaks frequency. Some people say energy, vibration, whichever term resonates with you. When we're clear on our why, it frees us from those energy draining emotions I was just talking about, that stress and overwhelm. And it catapults us into this high vibrational state. Think of that woman on the beach. And that, my friends, that is where the magic happens. See, our inner being, and this is you with a capital Y, knows everything it needs to know. All you, the person listening on this phone call right now, the you with the lowercase y, all you need to know is the what and the why, and the circumstances will show up, those synchronicities, those things you just can't explain are going to happen to fill in all those other things, the how, the when, and the where. Because look, we all know the universe is way smarter than we are, right? It can help us. It's there willing to help us create our vision, but it's saying, my goodness, at least what it says to me, my goodness, Heather, get clear on your target so I know what it is I'm supposed to be hitting. So how do I get clear on my target? Well, this golden circle, it's a simple model. It really is simple, but it offers a profound and incredibly powerful way of communicating. It helped me get clear on my target, and I know it can help you. So let's go through the model. And if you're going to play along with me, then go ahead and write a big circle that looks like this on your paper, leaving room there to write some words or phrases in each layer. And what would also be awesome is if you wrote at the top of your paper, I can't get this wrong. I can't get this wrong. Now, this model is typically used for organizations. That's why Simon Sinek developed it. He developed it to help companies create a culture, create a place where people actually wanted to come to work every day. But as you'll see, the model can just as easily be applied to individuals. Okay, so the what is that outer layer of the circle. And this is what every organization or individual knows that they do. It's what they do. So for an organization, it's going to be their products or the services they sell, whatever it is they provide, whatever they bring to market. For an individual, it's going to be your job titles or your roles. So go ahead, if you feel inclined, to jot down some of your job titles or roles that you currently have. You know, maybe for example, mom, dad, business owner, clarity, brand promoter, friend. And as you're writing those down, I'm going to give you an example for clarity as an organization. We could say the what simply is, hey, Clarity is a company that creates unique wellness products. Now, some organizations and individuals know the how they do what they do, that next layer. So these might be things like, for an organization, things that they think sets them apart from their competition, or things that make them special. So again, if you feel inclined, go ahead and jot some ideas that may come to mind for you. How do you do those roles that you just listed? And again, just phrases or words, just kind of a brainstorm. It could be something like, I cook healthy meals, I work with clients, I share, I listen, I love, I support. Just some ideas of how you do what you do. Let me give you an example for Clarity. We could say, Clarity works with brilliant scientists, developers, and doctors who use leading edge research. That could be a how statement. But isn't it interesting? So those two, very simple, probably had no problem articulating that. But isn't it interesting that very few organizations and people can clearly articulate the why they do what they do? The why is a purpose, a belief, or a cause. And guys, it is not money. Nope, not revenue, not profits, not even power or prestige. These are results. These are outcomes of what you do. They're not the why. The why is going to provide a clear answer to those questions like, why do you get out of bed in the morning? Why are you here? Why does this organization exist? And why should that matter to anyone? The why is what inspires. Now, if you want to jot down some ideas for your why, and maybe you've thought about this before, feel free, but I want to let you know it might be easier and it may flow more easily if you listen to these next few slides. Now, typically what most people do is communicate from the outside in and they actually leave out the why. Now, the reason this is not the best way to communicate is that those two outer layers, the what and the how, they simply don't inspire action. So facts and figures, yes, they make rational sense. But you guys, here's the kicker. People don't make decisions purely or even mostly based on facts and figures. So most people are going to start with the what when they're communicating, but starting with the why is what leaders do. And leaders, who are leaders? Leaders are people that inspire, and organizations with leaders, they change the world. So what I would love is, if you're in a position where you can close your eyes, my goodness, if you're driving or cooking breakfast, don't humor me. But if you can close your eyes, I want you to feel these two messages that I'm going to read to you. Okay. The first one's going to start from the outside in, how most of us communicate, leaving out the why. And then the second one is going to go from the inside out and include a why. And I just want you to see how you feel. Okay, here's the first one, the more common way of communicating. Clarity creates unique wellness products. They do this by working with brilliant scientists, developers, and doctors who use leading edge research. Do you want to know more? Okay, now let's go from the inside out and include the why. Clarity is more than a company. It's a group of like-minded individuals who believe in helping others reach their true potential. They believe in a future of unlimited possibilities. They work with brilliant scientists, developers, and doctors who use leading-edge research to create unique wellness products. You want to hear more? So I'm wondering if you felt a difference there. Communicating the second way, from the inside out and including the why, is going to attract people who share the same values and who want to be part of a larger cause. It's going to attract a different type of person. And by the way, none of this is just opinion. It is actually grounded in biology and backed by research. So if you're looking at the slides, here you're going to see a cross-section of the brain, and it's showing the layout of the brain and how it correlates with the components of this model, the golden circle. So outside the brain, that outer layer, is the neocortex. And the neocortex is responding to the what, corresponding with that what of the golden circle, and it's responsible for all rational and analytical thought and language. By the way, this is where I spent most of my future life. Now, the middle two sections, the how and the why, they're correlating with the limbic brain. You guys, the limbic brain is it's fascinating to me. It's what's responsible for feelings, things like trust and loyalty. But here's the kicker. This is the part of the brain that's responsible for human behavior and decision making. Okay, guys, this is the mind-blowing part for me. It has no capacity for language. No capacity for language. So in other words, when we're communicating from the outside in, yes, we're giving people vast amounts of complicated information, features, benefits, facts, figures, research, science. We're giving them all these things, but it doesn't drive their behavior. Now, when we communicate from the inside out, we're tapping into that fascinating part of the brain, that limbic brain. That's what controls the emotions, the behavior, and the decision making. Okay, so now it's true, because I know you're thinking exactly what I was when I first heard this presentation. Well, hang on. If you ask someone why they chose something, a product or a service over another, they can tell you the features, the benefits, the facts, the figures, the research, the science, right? Why? Why, if we know, if research shows that's not how people are making decisions, why do we do that? Well, remember, the neocortex, the thinking part of the brain, you know what its job is? Its job is to try to understand and make sense of this crazy, wacky world that we live in. So, this is the reason we think we are rational beings when, here's a spoiler alert for you guys, We really aren't. Because if we were truly rational beings, we would never buy a product or service simply because of how it makes us feel. We'd always, always, always just choose the best deal. And we know deep down we don't do that. We absolutely choose a product, a service, a company over one because of the way it makes us feel. But remember, and this was just total epiphany for me, that limbic system that's controlling the decision making, it has no capacity for language. So we will make the decisions using that part of the brain, but then if we want to articulate it, if we want to rationalize it, we need to communicate it with words. So we have to go down to that what level? The neocortex. So this is why we can say, people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. Okay, what we do is just tangible proof of what we believe. So let me state this another way. People don't buy calibrate. They buy clarity. They buy a vision of a future of unlimited possibilities. Now, I know I've been focusing on the why, so I want to be super clear that you do need to have all parts of this circle in order for your communication to be effective. They are all equally important. We live in a tangible world, so the only way people will know what you believe is if you say and do the things you actually believe, right? So everything needs to align, everything needs to be consistent. Your what, your how, and your why. Now, the golden circle, it isn't just a communication tool. It can also give you some insight into why some organizations just are really, truly great and inspirational and others aren't. So if we imagine this golden circle as a 3D model, you could view it like this, like a cone. And the cone is representing a company or an organization, and at the top of that system, we have the why, and the why is the leader. So the Clarity Leadership Team articulates the why, and it points to a vision of a better future. And then on that next level down, the how, this includes the people who are inspired by the leaders. These are the brand promoters, and they give their blood, sweat, and tears to build and bring vision to life. And then the what, there at the bottom of the cone, these are all the things that the organization says and does that actually breathes life back into that why. So an organization is communicating its why through everything it says and does, from the marketing to the products to the services, everything, even training like this. Now, for a message to spread, for a message to create a movement, it's got to be loud and clear, like a megaphone. Okay, so loud, guys, that's the easy part. Clear is harder. To be clear, you need to know and be able to articulate your why. Again, when everything you do and say echoes what you believe, your message is loud and clear. And that is why I encourage you to start with the why. And really what I want to reiterate is that you begin to explore this idea of writing down and practicing your why, I want you to remember to just go easy, make it fun, make it play. Remember that you can't be wrong. Just use this model as a template. Don't get stuck. The way I really used this and worked with this was to start with my why and then go deeper. So for example, you may be looking at some of the things you wrote down and you wrote, well, my why is to help people. And I'd ask you, okay, well, but why? Why do you want to help people? What do you get from helping people? See what you answer. And I say, okay, well, why? Why would I do that? And I want to give you guys a personal example. When I was first introduced to this concept, this golden circle, Chris Neville, the VP of Product Development, said, so Heather, what's your why? And I thought, I'm going to be really clever here. I had written down all my roles and titles and my hows, and I thought, I'm going to come up with this one comprehensive why that absolutely explains every breath I take. Okay. And so we're on a phone call and he goes, so what you got? And I say, my why is to facilitate transformation. Chris, my why is I want to facilitate transformation of the human condition through healing. And here I am waiting for like oh, Heather, that's a great why. I mean, I was impressed with my why, guys. I got to be honest. And there's just this pause on the phone line, and he's like, really? I'm like, yeah, why? What's wrong with that? And he's like, so you want to call in people that need healing. You want to call in people who need change. So you're attracting sick people and people who are going to be wrapped up in this story and that story. And, just out of curiosity, why don't you have a why statement that would be attracting people who want to inspire and be part of a larger movement? And I was like, whoa. It was like a ton of bricks hit me. So what I've been doing is I've been playing with and evolving my why statements. And the best way for me to describe this is it's like trying on an outfit for me. You go clothes shopping, you try on something, you're like, yeah, I think I like this. I'll bring it home. And then you start wearing it. Wow, this is so comfortable. I wish I had bought one in every color. Or you get it home, you wear it half the way through the day. You're like, I'm never wearing this again. Wake up in the morning, try out a why statement. See how you feel. See what situations show up. See what synchronicities are there for you. Right now, I'm kind of playing with my why is I want to inspire myself and others. And that one seems to be doing some pretty cool stuff for me right now. So if you want some more information about this concept of the golden circle, you can go to Simon's website, startwiththewhy.com. There's a lot of information there. I highly recommend his TED Talks. You can just search his name with TED Talk. There's a really cool 5-minute short one. If you've only got a couple minutes, there's a great 18-minute one. But to wrap this up, I want to leave you with 2 things to consider. The first is to consider how this model might help you communicate clarity in a way that's different from maybe how you've been communicating. Again, usually we go from the outside in, leaving out the why. What about trying going from the inside out and leading with the why? And then secondly, considering how it may help you articulate your personal why, whether that involves clarity or not. Remember, a movement only exists when people are inspired to move, to do something, to take up their cause as their own. And when you're inspired, that is when the magic happens. So I want to encourage you to all go forth and be inspired.